Today is the age of science and technology. So let us analyze whether the glorious Quran is compatible or incompatible with modern science.
Along the same lines, one of the other things that Muslims say, because one of the main arguments that they give, thanks to Ahmed Deedat and Zakir Naik, is the amazing scientific insights of the Quran, that Muhammad knew things that no one at the time could have known and that weren't discovered until centuries later, and scientists are still marveling at the amazing scientific accuracy of the Quran even today. I sit here and I read the Quran and it looks like a scientific catastrophe. It looked like if you were to invent the most ridiculous picture of the universe that you could possibly come up with, that's what Muhammad believed about the universe. If you could come up with the silliest theories about human reproduction that you could possibly come up with, that's what Muhammad believed about human reproduction. But what I hear from my Muslim friends is, in the Arabic, you find that everything is correct, that it's amazing and has all these scientific insights. Since you read the sources in Arabic, would you agree with the Muslims that their sources are filled with amazing scientific insights that prove that Islam is true?
The Quran is the most stupid book ever I saw all my life.
Listen. Let me remind you, the glorious Quran is not a book of science, Science, but it's a book of signs, Signs. It's a book of ayats, it's a book of verses. And the glorious Quran has more than 6,000 signs, 6,000 ayats, 6,000 verses, out of which more than 1,000 speak about science.
Listen.
And I challenge any Muslim to prove me wrong.
I do agree with you.
The God of Islam even don't remember which one he created first, the trees or the stars. Have you ever heard of a maker? He says something in one verse, he said the opposite in different verse.
In the field of embryology, the Quran describes the various embryological stages of the human development in great detail in Surah Mu'minun, chapter number 23, verse number 12 to 14. It says that we were nutfa, then we made it into an alaka, a mudga, a zaman, that human beings are created from a minute quantity of fluid. Then it made it into alaka, that is a leech-like substance. Then made it into a chewed-like lump. Then made it into bones. Then clothed the bones with flesh. When this verse was showed in the early part of the 1980s to Dr. Keith Moore, who at that time happened to be the highest authority in the field of anatomy and embryology, he was the head of the department in the University of Toronto, he said that the description of the Quran is far superior to what modern embryology describes today instead of stage 1, 2, 3. And he said that it's not possible that any human being can mention these things in the Quran. This Quran has to be the word from Almighty God, and he has no objection in accepting Prophet Muhammad as the messenger of Almighty God.
First of all,
La ilaha illallah. There's no God but Allah.
Listen.
I was like, oh my God, this is so strong. Like, that's why I said strong. This was so strong and so good.
The Quran do not know even how the baby is created. He says that the baby, he was a sperm and then he became a congealed blood, which is funny because the sperm was a sperm and then it became a congealed blood. Muhammad, he explained, and he says that the sperm stay inside the mother for 50 days. Have you ever heard of a science like this? But the Muslims, the problem is when the Muslims, they try to make the Quran as a scientific book, they fabricate the translation, they change the meaning to make it fit with science. As an example, when the Quran says Allah, he made the sperm into a congealed blood, the Muslims, they say in many translation, you were a sperm and then you became a clot. But this is not true. It doesn't say that. It says the sperm became a clot. If you go in Sahih al-Bukhari as an example, Muhammad, he says in hadith number 2644, he said that the semen remain in the womb of the women for 40 or 50 days, and this is authentic hadith. So this is the science of Muhammad, claiming that semen can live for 50 days. science says maximum 5 days. So
That's
the
correct.
only error mistake is only a 0.
Yep. That is correct, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. In other words, if you go to your biology class and you ask your biology teacher or professor, how long can a sperm survive, you'll hear maximum 5 to 7 days. Not so, according to Muhammad. So if you're a Muslim, you could spend a lot of time. You could spend a lot of time correcting your teachers and professors.
All the glory to you.